Hi everyone, I'm Noeleen Hammond-Jones. I'm the International Career Consultant at the University of Manchester, and today we're going to be doing a session around planning your career development. So for those of you who are looking to return home, this session will cover some planning around your career, the tools that we have available. Specifically, we will look at the job market in China, how that's looking at the moment, how to explore opportunities and how to prepare for your return. So in there, we will be using QR codes as well as we go through the presentation. So if you have a QR code app on your phone, it will be really useful to use as we go through the session. So the job market. So Kiri, if you could move to slide number 4 on the job market, that would be fantastic. So we're moving slides on and we're going to move to the job market. So can you just let me know that you can see the slides? If you put in the questions area that you can see the slides and hear me okay, that would be fantastic. So just put in the questions area that you can see the slides and hear me okay. Yeah, so I've got a few yeses. Yeah, fantastic. Okay. So is it right that you're still seeing the first slide, returning home, planning your career development? Is that the slide you're seeing? Okay. Yeah, it's the first slide. Kiri, can you move the slide on to slide number 4? No, doesn't seem to be working. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change presenter status to myself. If you all just bear with us, it's a slight technical hitch. Okay. Kiri, can you come back online for me so I can chat to you? This is what happens after preparation, everybody. Don't worry. Okay, no worries. So I am going to make presenter, show my screen. There we go. Now, if everybody can just let me know that you can see this, okay. And again, in the questions area. Yeah, so it's titled The Job Market. Fab. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Internet connections and all that. So just to let you know, so the job market, we're going to be looking at static industries that and growth industries in the Chinese job market. Students returning from overseas. So, you know, why are students choosing to return home? What majors have the returnees taken? And what about work experience? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you know that some of the information is from lock-in China that we've had. The Chinese market is still maturing and it's still got, let me just move this again. It's still moving in places. We have, at the moment, the biggest markets that we have been told about are real estate. So real estate is a big factor. Obviously, anything tech related, software developers, software industries, IT, but as well as that, business analytics is a big ask at the moment. So anybody who has any analytical skills, they're in great demand. And also we're looking at construction and, as I said before, software development. So those are the areas that employers are looking at recruiting as the largest, the top 5 areas employers are recruiting at the moment. In terms of what we're going to look at today, and the information I'm going to give you is we do work very closely at the University of Manchester with a number of employers, and those employers, as you can see, some of our top recruiters there work with us in terms of delivering online sessions, in giving details around internships. We've done a number of virtual internships as well recently. But also we will be having in March 2021 the Asia Careers Insight Series, and that Insight Series will be over the month of March. We hope to have 30 plus employers from Asia, Southeast Asia and India looking to recruit our students into a variety of graduate roles. So although we know that the current global pandemic has slowed some graduate opportunities and areas down, there are still growth areas around e-commerce, as I said, real estate and development, and also around consulting as well as a big area. So you can see there we have KPMG, EY, PwC and Deloitte in the top 5. So it's understanding your job market, and this will be different from region to region. So it's really important to understand, as a returning graduate, the region that you're returning to, what is happening in that region. And that would involve reading newspapers, keeping up to date on the business news that's being released in your region, looking on LinkedIn, making contacts with employers that you want to work with so that you can stay up to date on what is happening, what are the employment trends. And as I said, this can differ. Even in the UK, it differs from north to south. So it is worth doing your research and finding out. Now, other graduate recruiters that we work with across Asia include some of the following. So, you know, Cherry Jaguar Land Rover, Decathlon, Hayes, Hilti, Nielsen, New Skin, Unilever, Apple. We've worked with a variety of international, global and national. So we've worked with Tencent as well, organizations to recruit our graduates and students for internships. So it is, as I said, worth looking very closely online to your regional employment trends to figure out what is happening regionally, what is going on in the sector that you're looking at. And if you're in one of those positions where you're not sure which sector you want to apply to, so you're doing, say, a business degree, but your options are a bit varied, you're not restricted to just accounting or finance, you have a wider variety of options. Again, it's looking at the trends, doing your research online. A lot of the big consulting firms release quite regularly the trends that happen in the employment markets and what is happening. So it is worth, I think Kiri's joined us again, hang on. It is worth definitely having a look at those. So, oh yeah, so Kiri's back in. Let me see. So if I can make Kiri presenter, let me just make Kiri presenter. Yes. And let's see if it's working. We can give it another go and let's see. Kiri, do you want to try and share your slides? I can hear you, but yeah, if you want to share your screen. No, it's not happening. So Kiri's in a black hole of internet at the moment. It keeps letting her in and making her drop off again. So we'll continue. And what will happen during this session is you can ask questions as we go through, and I will try my best to answer those questions. So as well, this session is recorded, so I will be releasing the recording afterwards and it will be available online, so don't worry about doing that. So just again to check that you can all see my screen again. So my screen is there and I've got the list of employers and we're using the questions area for you to just let me know again. Appreciate your patience, guys. Okay, so moving on. What we're going to do is look at the future of work. So we work, as I said, with a number, and you've just seen the list, and that's only a selection of the employers that we work with at the University of Manchester. So just looking at that list, you can see that we talk quite regularly with employers from across all sectors, And we know that generally this is the list of skills that are in demand from employers. Now, analytical thinking and innovation, complex problem solving, critical thinking and analysis, active learning and learning strategies, being creative, original, and using your initiative. And then moving on to attention to detail, emotional intelligence. So that's recognizing, the atmosphere you're in, understanding when someone's upset, reading the room, as people will say. So reading people's emotions and understanding how you impact others. Reasoning, problem solving, ideation, leadership, social influence, coordination, and time management. So those are the kinds of skills that you develop through university, through your program, through your extracurricular activities. Working in groups, being able to work effectively with people from diverse backgrounds, understanding how to communicate effectively and clearly, and not being afraid to ask a question if you don't understand something. So when employers are saying, being creative and using your initiative, it doesn't mean that you can't ask a question, but it does mean that you shouldn't go ahead with something if you're not fully clear on what it is that you've been tasked to do. So it's very important that you understand the kind of skills that employers are looking for. Now, based on research that has been done, we have looked at the future of jobs, and in 2022, as we know, the landscape for work is changing. And people are asked to be more agile by employers, being able to work effectively from home, using new platforms, new technology in order to engage effectively with work from various places outside of the workplace. Because it is more difficult, I think, with the pandemic at the moment to gather in large groups. So employers are using a lot of resources at the moment to be able to effectively engage with their employees. So yeah, what I would say is at the moment with analytical thinking and innovation staying at the top, we are also looking at active learning and learning strategies. So it is important that you understand, that continual learning and development is very important to employers. They're extremely, for you to develop yourself, taking part in, say, LinkedIn Learning, edXL, Coursera, qualifying in various different platforms, even learning a new computer language, for instance, is something that they value going forward. And creativity, originality, initiative is so important right now. So especially where at the drop of a hat, an employer could ask you to go work from home for the next 6 months. You need to be able to be creative and innovative in how you do that, how you are productive, and how you are valuable to the organization. Technology design and programming is going to be more important than ever, and they feel that the research that has been released has shown that employers are going to expect pretty much every kind of job to have some element of programming in there, or technology kind of ownership and understanding involved in the role, because we are becoming more technical. We are embracing technology more to deliver our services more effectively. Like today, I'm at home, I'm here, I'm working from home, but I'm delivering a session to you. But it's also as well being able to overcome, like we have today, some of our technical issues that we have, and they do happen, but it's being able to overcome them with confidence and know that, it's not the end of the world. So I'm going to move on to how to explore opportunities. And like I said, if you do have questions, put them in the questions area and I will try and get onto them as best I can. So how can I make new contacts while I'm away from campus? So I understand some of you will be on campus still, some of you have left campus some time ago, some of you are thinking of leaving soon. And it is very important to understand, around making new contacts and what to do. So we've looked at a few different things online, and we understand that the first thing, and it's easier said than done, but having a clear job search strategy is really, really important, because once you have a clear job strategy, that helps you to define who your contacts can be, who those connections can be that you can reach out to, whether it be on LinkedIn, whether it be alumni, whether it be mentors from previous experiences that you've had. And researching the industries as well will help you to realize not only the industries and what's involved in those industries, but also what's involved in terms of connections. It might throw up some alumni as well from the University of Manchester or from other universities if you studied elsewhere, that you can reach out and connect to and say, hi, you know, we studied at the same institution. I see you're now working at Unilever or P&G. It'd be fantastic to get your insight into a career in this sector. This is what I'm looking for. In addition to that, attending job fairs and using recruitment agencies as well, that, you know, looking at Xiaoping, 51 Job, China Job, but Hayes and Michael Page not only recruit students as graduate consultants to actually work in the organization as a graduate, but they also have opportunities available for you as well in the job market. Using social media is really important. Your online presence is more important now than ever. You really need to think about how you want to be seen by an employer. And I will say this, you know, once it's out there on the internet, it's very difficult to get down. But if you have a social media platform, employers are now more likely than ever to look at your online profiles and your social media presence when you've applied for jobs, because they want to see the kinds of person that they're hiring, what they are projecting out to the online community, because you will ultimately be representing that organization. So it's very important that you really consider what you put on social media, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on Weibo, WeChat, whatever it is about making sure that you're putting across a persona that you would not be embarrassed for an employer to look at. Equally as well, I know we have a history of putting across very stern kind of professional photos where we'd be like this. It's not what people are looking for now. So as much as we are working remotely, there will hopefully be in the future opportunities to work more effectively in large office spaces. You will be spending more time with the people you work than your own family. So getting across that you are a team player and that you're approachable, and smiling in a photo is really important when you're using, you know, a nice professional. I'm not talking grinning from ear to ear, but a nice smile, approachable presence online. For your LinkedIn photo and other social media is important so that they can see that you're someone who will be good to work with. People hire people they like, so it's about coming across as a likable, approachable individual. We have over 500,000 alum worldwide at the University of Manchester, so you have such a diverse group of individuals to reach out to. And do check your alumni associations in your region. We have a very strong Beijing, Hong Kong and Shanghai alumni associations, and they're really worth reaching out to and joining. But there are also a number of other associations in the other regions that you may also want to investigate too. So I've had somebody say they can't hear me. Can you just all let me know that you can hear me okay? If you put yes in the questions area, that'd be really useful.
I can hear you fine, Noeleen. I'll get back to that student.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. And also participate in our online events. So we have a number of fantastic online events. So even this morning, Kiri and I were just speaking to Tata in India, who are looking at hiring students into virtual internships in 2021, and that's international. So it can be anyone from anywhere. So we also need to look at opportunities and how they've changed over the last few months and how they will change going forward. Virtual internships are you know, becoming more prevalent now. So getting that kind of experience where you're not then restricted geographically. So I would always say start by researching your area and your region, and then if needs be, then expand out. But our online events will help you realize the kinds of opportunities available out there. Also, Kiri sends out our international newsletter that goes out every month, and that will be starting in November. October or November, Kiri?
Possibly mid-October, but for Chinese students, you might have already received like plenty of emails from me. So once a week, I do try to pull together a newsletter to highlight vacancies and events. So do look out for those as well.
Yeah, so the international newsletter that comes from International Talent is from myself and Kiri. We're the international team. So I do the student-facing side of things, and Kiri does the employer-facing side of things. So that newsletter is a fantastic way of you gaining information. And also, as Kiri said, when we have opportunities that arise that have a shorter turnaround, because sometimes employers will only give us a couple of days notice when they're running something, we will email it out straight away to those students. So do always know that when we're not waiting till a day or two before an event to send you information, we send it as soon as we get it. So if it's a short turnaround, we do apologize, but that's out of our control. And we do send reminders where possible as well. So I know that a lot of you get a lot of emails, but it's so important to read your emails, because we do have such high engagement with Chinese employers. So many of them do email us quite last minute about events coming up, recruitment events and application deadlines. So keep an eye on the emails that go from Kiri and myself. So it's Kiriaki Protopapa and Noeleen Hammond Jones. Those are the two names that you need to be looking out for emails for. And Kiri's going to put both of our names in the chat area so that you can see how they're spelled, because I do know when we say our names, mine is an Irish name and Kiri's a Greek name. So it's just about familiarizing yourself with emails from ourselves, and then you can get the latest information. Okay, so how to explore, you know, explore opportunities using your connections. Who you know is as important as what you know. And don't get me wrong, what you've studied is very important, but equally, who you know is very important. Now, why we say that is because as you develop in your career, as you gain more experience, you won't be applying to jobs online like you are now. You will be doing this through people you know. So you'll be going to conferences, you'll be meeting people in meetings, you'll be developing your connections and your network. And through that, somebody will say to you, you know, oh, there's a great opportunity come up at our firm. We would really like you, you know, to consider this. And that's how things develop as you go on. So who you know is as important as what you know. But what I would say is looking at information about internal vacancies, always use careers link, and I have information, as I said, through QR codes later on that you can get direct link to careers link. But we have all the latest events and jobs on our careers link website. But using local job sites like 51 Job, like Xiaopin, like Hayes is really important as well. So knowing that you're using a variety of different job portals. Internal recommendations. So if you have a friend or somebody that you've worked with previously that are already in an organization, even at a junior level, it is worth reaching out to them to get a better insight into the organization and also how they got the job there. So they don't have to be senior within the organization for them to recommend you for a job. And a lot of employers use what we call internal recommendations. So instead of going out to market and advertising the job online or with a job agency, they will have a job opportunity that's advertised internally to the staff, and they ask that if you know somebody who will be good for this job, then put them forward. And that is a way that organization saves money, but also that person's more likely to stay and be a better fit because they've had an internal recommendation. So do reach out to friends, family, classmates, because it's really important to get that inside information on the organization. You know, asking somebody, how do they recruit? When do they recruit? Do they use an application form? Do they require a CV? Do they require a covering letter? And having that information is important to prepare effectively for applying for that job. Formal connections can include former employers that you've worked with, university connections, professional bodies, networking groups online. And we've talked about the alumni connections as well. So alumni associations, which we have, are very active in mainland China and Hong Kong. And also the British Council is fantastic for alumni connections. The British Council hold really well organized online events as well for students returning to China. So if you haven't checked out the British Council, do have a look at their website as well. So just so you know, social media wise, these are our social media platforms, and you can use your QR code reader to connect with us on those platforms. It's really worthwhile, you know, building your connections online, getting to know people, former classmates, current classmates. Even if people aren't in jobs right now, it doesn't mean they're not going to be in 6 months' time or 3 months' time or a year's time. And they could be in an organization that you really want to be in. And having someone on the inside is the first step. You know, just getting somebody to give you the best insights into the culture of the organization, how, you know, who they could connect you with potentially to have further conversations about joining and what you can add and bring to the organization. What I will say, and this is the biggest feedback that we get from Chinese employers, is that when students do return to China, they can't effectively articulate why they want to work for that organization. So they don't want to know just the platitudes of, you know, you're amazing, you're one of the top organizations, you're this, you're that. They want to know that you've done your research on them. You've gone beyond the About Us section on their website. You've looked at journals, you've Googled them, or you've looked on social media, or you've looked on the internet, just done an internet search and had a look and seen, you know, what are they getting involved in? Have they got any government contracts? Are they doing something new and innovative? Why them? And it's almost like dating. They want to know why them. They want to be first choice. So you need to have some really good reasons why them. They don't want to know that you're applying to KPMG because EY turned you down. They don't want to know that you want to work for Unilever because they're a big global organization and you want to travel. They want to know that you want to work for this organization because they're working on innovative, sustainable projects with big global brands, that they are looking at redeveloping their online portal that will then be more accessible to those in vulnerable positions. Those are the kinds of things they want to know. They want to know you've done your research and what your real motivation is. They know what they're giving you. So you don't have to say, I want to work for you because you've got a great development program or a great graduate program or you've got good benefits. They know that because they're giving them to you. What they want to know is why them for you. So in and above, you know, you get similar benefits across a couple of different companies. Why them? What are they doing? And that's where your motivation comes through your research. You can demonstrate your research on that organization by talking about them more specifically. And if it's around a specific role, so why auditing? Again, talk about how you're going to benefit them and the knowledge that you've researched around that role in that company. And that's what they want to hear. I hope that makes sense. But that's the biggest feedback. So I'm going to move on to the next slide, which is our LinkedIn groups. So this goes back to making connections online through LinkedIn. And I would say that you know, we have the China, India, Africa, Pakistan, and International Manchester Network. You do not have to be from those regions to join those regions. These are just, you know, information areas where we share different information. But as a starting point, you can join the China and the International Manchester networks. They're really good. We share posts, employers are on there, alumni are on there, and it's a great way to network. What I will say about LinkedIn is there's no point in joining LinkedIn and just sitting there and doing nothing, because your visibility will be nil. And in order to raise your visibility, and we've had some fantastic students, one of our students, Ferrin, has written some articles recently about her experience in lockdown as a student and what she's done during lockdown. We have another student who worked as an international virtual internship with Tata, who's written about her experience of the internship and doing an international virtual internship. But also joining groups. It's starting conversations. You do not have to be senior to post something on LinkedIn. And I know there's this fear sometimes, it's, I have nothing important to say, so I can't post it on LinkedIn. Of course you can. You could post from today. Well, today I attended a session on, and I learned X, Y, and Z. What have you learned in the last month that you didn't realize around employability or the Chinese job market? You know, you can that's all you've got to do. It's as simple as that. It's sharing, starting questions, getting engagement from people, and understanding that you have to be active to benefit from these platforms. There is no point just joining and having a good profile. You need to be active on the platform. So writing articles, and it can be something as simple as my plan going back to China, or how I found living in the UK during lockdown with my family overseas. It can be online courses that I've taken while I've been in lockdown. It can be, you know, how I've coped with online study, anything like that. And it doesn't have to be a long article. It doesn't have to be intricate, a couple of paragraphs. That's it. So it's around sharing your experiences and getting people to see that you have insights, that you've got opinions, that you can share those online and get engaged. And that's what these groups are for as well. So how to prepare for your return. So preparing for your return, your job strategy is the first thing. So be focused and have a clear vision. Try your best. And if you are concerned or you aren't sure what your next steps are, you can engage with the career service, and you can have an appointment with one of the careers consultants. You can also speak to your contacts. This is where your contacts are very important. So if you're struggling to make a decision, speaking to family, speaking to friends, and speaking to alum can be really useful. But always have a plan B and a plan C. So plan A might be working for one of the big 4 international firms. Plan B could be working for something next level down. So we're talking still a big international firm, but maybe not one of the big 4. Plan C could be working for someone national. So it's around, you know, having those backup plans and knowing that if your ultimate goal is to work for Unilever, P&G, KPMG, one of those organizations, it doesn't have to happen straight away. There is a route in that will happen, but it may be starting somewhere different. So having those backup plans is important. Remember, the graduate recruitment market is highly competitive, and even more so now than ever. And also, you know, consider working in second-tier cities if possible, because there are organizations there who may not have the large, you know, international budgets to recruit, but can give you that valuable experience. And it's not just about a strategy, it's knowing yourself. And this is where I talked about the motivation. It's knowing, you know, who you are, what your skills are, reflecting on those skills, and where, and you know, kind of identifying areas for development. And when you apply for jobs, remember to evidence all the skills which you have, and it's about actual experience. So it's relating to those skills. So there's no point saying to an employer, I'm a great communicator. Give me an example of when you were a great communicator. So, and we say use the CAR approach: context, action, result. Context is 10%, action is 80%, result is 10%. So instead of saying I'm an excellent communicator, you can say I led a group of 5 people during a group project from 4 different countries in order to achieve a group presentation on sustainability. This resulted in my tasking up various individuals, recognizing their skills and strengths, tasking them appropriately, and then coordinating the delivery of the presentation materials, combining those into a presentation, which resulted in a joint mark of 65%. There we go. That is evidencing good communication. So it's remembering to list actual experiences. Don't just copy and paste the company's information from the website. They know what they've written. So that's not enough in covering letters. And Kiri has a fantastic email that she's put together about what to do and what not to do in job applications, which we'll send around to all of you students soon. But it is around doing more in-depth research around the organization and demonstrating why them, why that organization. Demonstrate a passion for the role you're applying for. Again, it could be just saying that you've attended a couple of online sessions delivered by the organization. You've spoken with a graduate who is doing that role at the organization and it doesn't matter where in the world it is, it's all valid. It could be that you have done an internship in that role or a similar role or assisting that role. It could be anything. It's about getting some relevant information in there that demonstrates your passion for the role. It could even be that you've attended a job fair and you spent 20 minutes speaking to the recruiter and getting as much information as you could around what that job role entails. I would say as well, in addition to that, practice for interviews is very important. Assessment centres, psychometric tests, all of those and the information, tools and resources are available on the Career Service website, which again, I've got a QR code for later on. And again, you might get reverse culture shock. So it could be 4 years since you've been home and you may never have worked in the job market back home and you've only had UK experience. So again, it's giving yourself time to adapt, speaking to alums, speaking to family who are working, asking about what the work ethic is like, what's expected from a graduate, kind of preparing yourself before you go back. Strong candidates may receive multiple job offers, so know what your worth is, and return on your overseas study, like I said, could be anything from 3 to 5 years. So, go in and demonstrate what you have to offer. So information about getting CV ready is here, so you can use your QR code to get information. There are templates in there as well, which are really useful for you to start with. I would always say for our Chinese students, having a CV in English and a CV in Mandarin or Cantonese is very important. So having the 2 copies, because some of the recruiters maybe their first language might be English. Most it will be Mandarin or Cantonese. So it is about having the CV in the language that's appropriate for the organization you're applying to. Careers link is where all the internships, work experiences, jobs, international roles as well, anything we get from Chinese employers is put onto Careers link. You can also book appointments now yourself, so there's no need to go through a triage system. You can book your own appointments and book yourself onto events. I will say, if you book yourself onto an online event, please attend. It is very important because we do have limited spaces and so many of our students don't actually get a chance to attend events because they're booked up. So if you can't attend after booking, do cancel your place. But we also have fairs coming up in October, everything about our online events. We have global panels happening in October, November and December. Our China global panel is happening in October. Our Southeast Asia is happening in November and our India one is happening in December. So we have some great panelists, great organizations involved in those events. And as I said, the Asia Careers Insight series is happening in March. So question time. So if you do have any questions based on today's webinar, do put them in the questions area and we will get to them as quickly as we can. So this session has also been recorded, so we will make it available online.
There was one question around, sorry, Noeleen, were you about to say something?
No, go for it.
There was one question about if there's like a standard CV. So yes, we do have a CV template on our website. I think you gave the QR code for the students to find, but then can I mainly use English CV for applications? Again, depending on the employer, they will mainly specify whether they want one in English or in Mandarin, but I will say pay particular attention to the length, because if you're submitting a CV in English, it needs to be 2 full pages long, not 1.5, not 1 page.
Yes, it's very important to to have that CV ready, and the templates we have are available. You need attention to detail is important, because you can't save attention to detail and then misspell and then have things messily aligned. There's one student around their specific study that they feel they can't connect to other people in their network. Now, I'd say if you're studying something, say like translation interpreting or HR or engineering, there are alumni. Actually, do you want me to show you how to use the alumni function on LinkedIn? Just put yes in the questions area and I'll show you how to find alumni on LinkedIn. Okay, so
I've put in the chat section, I've put the link to the alumni pages so you can go and identify directly who which previous graduates are now leading the Alumni Association, so you can connect with them directly. But Noeleen is now going to show you how to find alumni who've studied what you've done, and perhaps connect with them and ask them questions, just get their take on things. In addition to that, I think one web page on our website that I find particularly useful, and I'll get to that as soon as to give Noeleen time to get to the right page, is we do have a page on our website that lists some active language that you can use in your application to help you demonstrate your skills and experiences a bit better. So again, I'll put that page in the chat function so you can bookmark it and have it ready next time when you're making applications and you can't just think the right word perhaps, and you do want a refresher or some help.
And I would say about updating your email address. You can update your email address with our alumni office. So if you want to, you can contact the alumni office if your student email is about to expire. But also, if you join the social media platforms, you will be kept up to date on information that is happening. So do join the social media platforms and you'll get further information. So this is the alumni pages. So when I typed in University of Manchester in the search bar, I came up with the option of school, not company. So you choose the school option, not the company option. And it brings you to this page here. And this is the University of Manchester school page. Now, it's very important to scroll down and you'll see alumni on the left-hand side. This brings you to a really good tool. I'm just going to move this out of my way, which shows you that we have 226,321 alumni on LinkedIn at the moment. And these are some of the alumni. Now, the alumni will include people who've listed the University of Manchester as their place of work, their place of study, and also our current students. So there'll be a mix of alumni and current students in your search results. So for that student who wanted to, you can see where they live. And if you click the show more here, you can expand that so you can get a longer list. You can also search keywords in here. So if you wanted a specific place, you can search there. So if you have United Kingdom, Manchester, London, United States, also where they work, so which organizations they work for, what they do, which is business, what they studied. So this is the course that they studied. So I can put in here interpretation. Let's see if that comes up. And then that gives me, let me just see what my results. Okay, so interpretation consultant, and if I put in there translation as keyword searches, that shows me that we've got 149 listed in China. And if I scroll down, you will see that these people have a link to the University of Manchester and have in some way got some involvement with linguistics. So you will see it's a real mix. If you keep scrolling down, they'll keep turning up, and it is worth having a look and connecting. Now, when you connect with somebody, you never connect asking for a job. It is, hi, my name is, I study this at the University of Manchester. I would like to get some insights regarding a career in whatever that is related to them. Or would you mind sharing with me some insights into your career in? And it does help asking for advice and guidance rather than asking for a job. You know, try and draw some commonalities if that person's if they went to the same school as you, as well as the same university, or if they're from the same region. Draw commonalities with them so that you can connect with those people. Okay, you can also see where they work, so you can get a good idea of the different organizations they work in. And as I said, you can see what they do and what they studied. The final page is what they're skilled at, so this is where and how you're connected. So the skills is the top skills that they've put on their profile, but what they've studied, you'll never get the same exact course title as what you've studied, because LinkedIn uses a more generic approach, but you can pick the ones that are the closest to what you've studied, and that will help you then to find alumni who have studied the same program as you or similar program to you. So that is how to find alumni. Now, if I go to the career service, you will see we were talking about CV. So I think that there was an issue around the QR code for CVs. So if you just put into the search bar careers University of Manchester, you will come to the career service page. You will then find lots of information. So for international students, everything you need to know about the world of work is here. But in addition to that, applications and interviews. So in applications and interviews, the top search is CVs. So you will see the CV template is here, more CVs as well, because there are different types of CVs and you can find a really good fit for you. Then it goes through the CAR model, which I mentioned earlier, 10%, 80%, 10%. And then also as well, some additional advice and links that will be helping you with your career and your job search. So I hope that is helpful. It's always worth as well, you know, having a look at your career, you know, events that are coming up online, but also Careers Link. So Careers Link, you can book appointments on there. You're entitled to help for 2 years after you graduate. So you are entitled to continue to get help and advice and guidance from us as a career service for up to 2 years after you graduate. So we're not, you know, if you find yourself in a job that you hate, the first job, and you're like, I don't know what to do, just give us a call. So we can, you know, Zoom, we can use other platforms as well, like Skype, we can use telephone. I've recently spoken to students all over the world who are struggling. So don't be afraid to get in contact with us. So let me just see, are there any other questions I've missed?
There was a question around finance, but I'm just trying to get clarification from the student about what they're studying, because they were just wondering what sort of like finance positions they could apply to. But I just wanted to also point out that you can also set alerts on Careers Link. If you're interested in jobs in specific regions or in specific sectors, you can go into your Careers Link account and set up alerts. So you will be notified as soon as an appropriate position comes up for you.
Yeah, and you know, the events that we're holding are so diverse as well. So do have a look at the events, because they might be, it could be a panel event where you could think, oh, that person would be a really good person to connect with on LinkedIn. And then you can reach out and say, hi, I attended the panel event. I thought it was really interesting what you had to say. Would you mind connecting with me on LinkedIn? And you can go from there. So there's lots of ways to connect with alumni, and also, you know, not just your major, but looking at a bit further afield. So, you know, if you are looking at, say, a management major for this student and they're wondering where in finance am I to go, talk to people in different roles. That's the best way to do it. So read up. If you go to, if I look at, let me see, prospects.ac.uk, and Prospects is a really good website to use to get kind of, it never works for me when I Google it, and I don't know why.
I just normally Google it. I don't go to the website.
Let me just check if I can do it here. So prospects.ac.uk. Sometimes it doesn't like certain, no. Okay, it's weird. If you look at the Prospects website, it might be because mine is a work PC. So I would say have a look at prospects.ac.uk, and there is a job finder. Also in the career service, there's a Which Career. So the Which Career is a really, really good tool to kind of look at and see. So for finance roles, you'll see there's finance here, and it talks about the different finance careers. And what it does is it gives you an overview of the different careers and what's involved. And it is, I know it can be a bit time consuming, but it's reading through that and figuring out where, you know, which one appeals to you most, which one is really catching your attention. And that's a good starting point. After that, it's maybe looking at alumni using the tool that I showed you on LinkedIn, where you can find, if I get rid of that, if I get rid of interpretation, and then if I go to, if I can filter by what they studied, and I'll put finance general, and I'll choose that, we will see that we've got 725 in China, and that gives us, oh, let me get rid of that. Yeah, general, and then we go China. Yep, and then if we scroll down, you will see the different kinds of roles that our alumni have, and it's reaching out. You know, I've done a management major, I've got, you know, various different options, and they don't have to be like, you know, the founding partner or head of business. It could be one of the recent graduates who've joined one of these organizations, and I'm really struggling to decide between the two. Can you tell me how you decided, and you know what resources you used, that kind of thing? And if you can give me a bit of insight into your role, that will help you decide. But what I will say is, if you do make a decision and 6 months to a year down the line it's not the right decision, it does not define you. It is a starting point in your career. Many people in China will start in one career, and in 10 years later they'll be in a completely different career depending on the path they take. So there is ways of just, you're not stuck in a box for the next 30 years. You do have opportunities to expand out and develop your skills and the area that you want to be in. So your first career when you get started is just a starting point. Okay.
Just to say, I think the Prospects website might be down at the minute because I can't access it either. But they do have, in addition to explaining about different roles and industries, and you can read more about it then, they also do have country pages there. So do have a look at the China country page, because it normally, I can't remember from the top of my head right now, but I think for most country pages, it does include like a list of different websites that you can have a look at for finding jobs, and it also explains what the dominant sectors are, and you know where exactly you might have a look in order to improve your employability. There is another question there about whether we can provide look CVs in Mandarin. Unfortunately, we can't because neither one of the two of us can speak Mandarin. But I think the same rules apply. Do try to get someone else to read your CV in Mandarin, just to make sure that you haven't missed a spelling error or everything makes sense. Make sure the formatting is right. I will always recommend, because I know the formatting might go a bit might look a bit funny when you send it across different computers. Write your CV and cover letter in Word and then convert it into a PDF when you send it across to your recruiter. So that way, all your formatting, where your image is, if you're including one, and everything else, that doesn't get lost.
Yeah, and GradLink China, the page that I have here as well, is a fantastic resource developed by higher education institutes in the UK. And it's got they've got great partners as well. So have a look at GradLink. It's gradlinkuk.com/China. Helps you. There's jobs boards, there's getting advice, there's loads of things, and they have other regions as well. So if you are interested in other regions, do have a look at that. I think we're coming to the end now, guys. Thank you for attending today. I hope we helped you. I hope we managed to get as much information across and shared some great resources with you. Stay in touch with us, as Kiri has put in the chat area. Do check out the emails that come from Kiri and I going forward, because you know we are looking out for your best interests, and if we send an email, it is important. So I know you might feel bombarded at times by emails, especially now more than ever, but we only send an email when it's important and we feel that our students will benefit from knowing about events and vacancies that are coming up. So good luck in everything that you do. Like I said, you have access to our career services for up to 2 years after you graduate. If you are in any way confused and need to talk, log into Careers Link with your university username and password and book an appointment now. They're all self-bookable, and you can speak to one of our careers consultants in a variety of different sectors who can help you with your with any questions that you do have. So have a great afternoon, evening. I know it's quite late there now. So for any of you back in China, have a fantastic evening, and for everyone else, thank you for joining, and we will stay in touch with you. Okay, good luck. Bye.
Bye, good luck with everything.